Hi everyone! I'm not quite sure if this video is working yet. Give me 2 seconds. I have my setup done a bit differently today. I forgot to bring my tripod with me to the place where I'm staying at the moment, and I can't see the video, so I'm just getting it up on my computer now, and I will be with you in 2 seconds. Okay, so today we are going to be getting a sketch onto canvas. So we've been working on the sketch for the new painting for a few weeks now, and I'm going to start translating that onto this canvas. The fun part about that is I was hoping to have a projector to be able to do it, but I haven't been able to source one just because there's none really in this area. So I have decided to go with the grid method. So you probably can't see, but in preparation for this, I drew up a grid onto the canvas just in grey lead pencil, and I also did a grid on the image that we're going to be using, and I'll just zoom in here and see if you might not be able to see it from that far away. I feel like it's probably a little bit unlikely. I'll move in because it's a bit of a delay. But so I've translated the grid onto the drawing as well. So you can see it's got that grid pattern over the top. So what that allows me to do is copy the same squares onto this canvas, and then I'll basically be able to just fill in the squares. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. Luckily these canvases are 1 meter by 1 meter, so the grid that I've done is 12 squares across and 4 squares down, because it's spread out onto the 3 canvases, and it's easy for me to split up. So each canvas will be like a 4 by 4 grid, and then I'll just split up the image that way. Yeah, we'll get started. I'll put some music on. I'm hoping this is going to work. Please leave a comment if maybe the video is delayed or the sound isn't coming through properly. My internet is not fantastic, so it might be a little bit jittery, so please leave a comment if it's not coming through quite as it should. And we will get started. Pop some music on. So, because I'm trying to do a bit of a comic book kind of style, there's a couple of like really solid straight lines that I've tried to put into this image. So I'm going to use this tape measure, which will kind of act as like a bit of a ruler. So I'll be able to like use the width of the tape measure to create those like those thick black lines. It just saves me having to do it freehand, which, to be honest. So all I'm doing is lining up tape measure against like one of the grid lines, and then I will just outline it. And I'm not really pressing firmly with my pencil, I'm just doing like a really light line, just because when you paint over it, the grey lead, you have to do a few layers of paint if the line that you've done is too solid. I just don't want to get paint all over this tape measure, so we're going to go with grey lead today. Oops. That did not come out very straight, but I'll fix it up. I'm just looking, and I'm thinking my internet may not be working that well. We'll just keep going and see. Just going to refresh it and see if that works. But it might be that we'll have a couple of tech issues today. Just see how we go. I'm a bit concerned about internet, but we'll push on. So these next lines are going to be a little bit trickier, just because they're more sort of in the middle of the canvas. So they're sort of like towards the top third of this square. I just want to make sure I'm doing it in the right. It's disappeared. That's okay. So these lines are probably going to be a little bit tricky to see, just because I'm doing them in grey lead to start off with. I would paint them in. I just don't want to muck this stuff up. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit difficult to see some of these lines, which is a shame, but as I start to paint in some of the detail, you'll be able to get a better picture of what it's going to look like. There's also a line this way. Whoops. So this line is kind of like not quite halfway in these squares. So basically all I'm doing is just matching up these lines to the places where they are in the little squares, and it just helps in terms of ensuring the proportions look right. If I didn't do this, it would be a lot harder to kind of mimic that sketch that I've got on my iPad. It's likely that it wouldn't be as accurate as this will probably be able to be. A projector would be like that next level of accuracy, but grid is really good way of doing this if you don't have access to a projector. I will say the tape measure is not quite being my friend. Okay. That I do have a little bit of writing in this, which I'm kind of anxious about. Writing is not something that I usually sort of attempt in my art, just because it's hard. So usually I'd be, I don't know, I'd have the writing, sort of the text that I could get in the application, which I have done in this instance, but translating that now into these grids is going to be interesting. Also trying not to lose track of which square I'm in. That's a bit tricky too. So I'm going to start with the bottom of the C, which is 1, 2, 3 squares across, and it's kind of about here. I can already see that I've mucked it up. This is why we do this in Greylet to start, because it's really tricky. Okay, try it again. I want to be close to this line here. Sort of more like there. The only thing with this is you can get it quite accurate. It's just so much more trial and error compared to other methods. Like I can see that this line is not quite right. It'll probably just mean there will be a lot of rubbing out and starting again. Ooh, this is in a very awkward spot. I'm trying to get the right vantage point. I might stick to where I was. I just don't want to press on this because that's going to cause dents. I'm just laughing at myself trying to get in the right spot. This is what happens when you're short. You don't have much reach. It's coming out not too bad. I will probably sort of fix this up. But I guess this is just the initial kind of sketch. Not bad. Considering like my track record with drawing letters, not bad. The grid does help so much. It just kind of gives me a better idea of what bits go where. So even though it's not quite accurate right now, it looks reasonably good. Okay, that looks okay. I'm happy. You may notice that I sound pleasantly surprised. I really wasn't sure how those letters were going to turn out, so that's a win for the day. I'll try and move it a bit closer so you can actually see, and I'll try and give you guys a bit of a look at it when it's done. I know it's a bit hard to see with the grey lead and the light. It doesn't quite show up that well. Also just realised that I may not have a sharpener for my pencil. So prepared. Okay. So this is sort of the trickier bit when we're actually putting faces in. The grid should make it a lot easier than it would usually be, but it is still a little bit tricky. You might see me rubbing out and sort of redrawing things quite a bit, but we'll see how we go. And you may see me just staring at the iPad for a bit because I'm trying to figure out where to start. Very important. Sometimes I feel like if I don't start in the right spot, it just messes everything up. So, I don't know, it's probably just in my brain. Yes, please. Throw it at me. I just got a sharpener delivered for those that are watching. Hey, thank you. Taking me a lot longer than I thought it was going to. I thought I'd be able to smash out this canvas in half an hour, but it has taken me a little while. you'll probably see me like going over other sections just because I will draw this on now, but it'll be really likely that I'll go back and redo some of it just because I'll be able to sort of judge what kind of looks in proportion and what doesn't, and I'll sort of just muck around with the lines until they look as close to this image that I've got here as possible. This line is too close to me, or too close to this square, but that is okay. I might just go over it a little bit, just pretend like it's not there. So it kind of goes with the comic book thing that I'm trying to create. I know it's 5:30, but I just want to finish this one, or at least try to, and just show you where it's sort of at. Promise it shouldn't take too much longer. Okay, I am quite happy with how that's looking so far. I will lift it up and show you. Hopefully you'll be able to see. Actually, I might just pick the phone up, that'll be better. Okay. So, as you can see, I've got one figure in there now. And then I've got the YGC across the top. So that's where it's currently at. Not too bad, considering we're kind of going in freehand. And I will pick this up for you all next week. Also, I'm very... Me lifting didn't really make it clearer, but I'm... Have a lovely weekend and see you next time.